Okay, what I want to do here is I'm just doing a quick check of the 3 tents I'm considering taking on the PCT. I'm going to do about 1,700 miles of it this year, or at least that's the plan. We'll see how the snow goes. But the 3 tents I have are the new Durston X-1 Pro, which is right here. The next one is the Duplex, which is right here. And the third one is the Copper Spur CS1, the one-person version of that series. And I like them all for different reasons, but I thought I would go over setup and give you my thoughts on that. So the first one is the Durston. And I gotta say, this thing, the more I set this thing up, the more I like it. I added some 6-inch, well, I actually added 18-inch guy lines at each corner, but I'm only using about 6 of it now. And that enables me to lift it up. Basically, you can see I've got about maybe a 5-inch lift there. I only have 4 corners staked out on this thing. There's no guy lines in the way. And it's actually pretty sturdy. I mean, look at this. This is pretty sweet. And it went up the fastest of these 3. The next one is the Duplex, which I've had for a while. And honestly, it's kind of a pain to set up. I forgot. I don't know. I guess I just need to spend more time with it. But anyway, it takes, right now I've got 8 stakes in it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 8. So there's 1 on each end, right? 1 for each door. There's 1 at each corner, and then there's 1 on each sidewall for a total of 8. And this tent's just kind of it's nice because it's big and spacious inside. These guy lines are all over the place. And honestly, of the 3, this is the one that took the longest to set up. And the third one is the Copper Spur HV UL1. I believe this is the most current version. It's got that weird door, you know, the double zipper thing. So, and right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stakes on it, but I've got 1 at each end. I don't have the corners staked out. Instead, I've got the ends. So you can see there's 1 there, there's 1 there, there's 1 here, which is the door side, and then there's another one on the foot end here. So, if I were to tie these things down and really batten down the hatches because I knew a big storm was coming, the Durston tent can take, let's see, 8 more stakes. So it'll take 1, actually it'll take even more than that. I can put 1 at each door, which I'll probably do anyway, which is what I've got this guy line for. And what this does is hold the door in place, and that I would normally do. And then it's got 1 stake possibility here, right along the long side. It's got another one on this big sidewall, which is also where the magnetic door, no, actually it's not. It's below the magnetic door deal. So that's what, 1, and then it's got 1 where you can tie out on each of these pole ends. So what you could do is add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this one on the end. There's a stake right here. 7 here, 8 here, 9 here, 1 on top, 2 on top. So 2 poles. So I got this right. God, that's a lot of stakes. The more I play with this tent, the more I like it. So we can do 2 on the ends, 1, 2, 3 on each side. So that's 2 plus 6 is 8 plus 1 on each pole, which is 10. And I guess if you really wanted to, you could string off one on each, you know, kind of do a V going up through the pole. So you could do even more. This tent has infinite possibilities. The duplex, you can add guy lines. Well, where would you add more? I guess to add more to this, you could tie them off with this. But those are also the door loops. The way to really bomber-proof the duplex, I guess, is to get the flex kit, and then you use the poles and the flex kit, and the flex kit is a self-standing kit. So that would help bomber down this tent. And then this tent, the Copper Spur HV UL1, you can stake out each corner. So I've got 4 stakes down now, 1 on each end. You could put 1 on each corner, 1, 2, 3, 4 around. So that would take it to 8. And then they've got these guy lines on the front side, which are 9 and 10, and that would certainly help make it stable. But I think a crucial design flaw in this tent was that one of these big panels in the rear actually did not have guy outs. So I actually had somebody install these. So now I've got guy outs on this big flat panels on the rear side of the tent, because I found that actually the first time I used this tent, it was really windy, and I had everything staked out and it still collapsed. I mean, it didn't collapse, but it got pushed in so much that it was just like, well, this sucks. So I had him add these loops on the fly. It's sort of the midpoint on the back side. So now every angle on the tent can be staked out. So that's my take. So right now, the way I look at these tents, well, let's start with this one. This tent takes a bit more time to set up. It does have its own poles, which is really nice. I think it's pretty bomber. Once I've got 12, 4, 8, 12 stakes out, it'll be pretty bomber. And it's a nice 10 inside. I'll show that another day. This thing, the duplex, I don't know. You know, it just, more I finicky around with this thing. I guess if I got the flex kit, it would be cool. But, you know, that's just more stuff to set up. And, yeah. So, and then there's the Durston. Look at this, 4 stakes, and it's sitting pretty good. Anything I add to this just makes it stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is the lightest of all 3 of these tents. I think the Durston's it's just under 17 ounces, not with stakes. This thing, the duplex, is about 20 ounces. I think it's 19.6 ounces. And then this, the big Agnes, is about, I want to say it's 2.3 pounds. It's probably 32, 30. I don't know. It's probably close to 40 ounces. It's basically twice the weight of the duplex. And gosh, maybe almost 3 times the weight of the Durston. But it's nice inside. I got to say, this tent, you know, you're carrying poles with it. So if you wanted to use trekking poles during your hike, and you had them being used in a tent, you know, you can collapse those tents. This one, you just buckle up and go. So that's my take. Easiest tent to set up by far is the Durston. The next easiest tent is probably the Copper Spur. And then the third one is this finicky duplex, which I will somehow figure out. All right. Okay, now let's talk about getting in and out of these tents. Okay, let's start with the Durston. Check this out. I've now staked down the door. You come up, you grab the zipper, you pull it up. One-handed, you can roll this thing over. All right, bing-a-da-bing. Bing-a-da-bing-a-da-bing. I'm actually doing a nice, neat job, but you could probably just tuck and roll. And you grab this little strap below it. Right, a magnet. Throw the magnet on it. Done. How flipping cool is that? You want to get in the tent, you pull this zipper. If I had this thing, this loop in the pole, right, like that, I could just pull this up. I don't, so, but the idea is that you can, anyway, you just pull that up and boom, you're good to go. I can do a little bit better job with that, but real easy to get in and out of. The duplex is so much work, I decided to open on one side. You have these little, so the let's go back to the Durston. The Durston is just easy. You can open up these doors from the outside and the inside with one hand, especially if you stick the pole through the little loop here. My only hesitation to do that is because, maybe you can see this, my poles have these serrated edges, and I'm concerned that that serrated edge, when it holds a loop, might tear into the material. And you got this nice vestibule door. A pack will fit there. The pole is not in the way of the door. The door is one-handed, even when you're in your sleeping bag. Now we come to the duplex. And to undo it, you undo these little loopy things, right? Kind of a pain. I guess you lift up on that, loosen it up, you undo each side, and then you got to roll it. All right, roll, roll, roll. And then let's see if I can do this. You grab the little loopy thing. Frustrating beyond belief. Well, the idea is you grab this little toggle switch. Yeah, you grab that and then you supposedly tuck it into that thing. I'm not gonna, it's frustrating. Anyway, once you do it, let's go over to the other side where I already did it. You can then put the doors up like this, and then you have to open up this stupid rainbow door, right? You can't just slip in and out. You gotta undo the whole thing, both sides. And now you can get in. Of course, if you're in a mosquito-infested area, they're going to come swarming in because you got a big opening. And your door's now down here on the grass and dirt. I've got AstroTurf, so no problem today. But if this was mud, well, there's that. Meanwhile, I still have yet to be able to get the screen so that this rolls off. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm using the tie outs. I guess I'll have to use the poles that lift it up. So more complications. I don't know how many times I've set this up, and I have yet to get this gap that they want so the water rolls off. And then that's what it looks like on the other side. It is simple. I do like the DCF floor. It's totally waterproof, easy to seal, although it takes up more space than the Durston Sill nylon floor. And then finally we have the, so there's that. Pain in the butt to get in and out of. And you got the rain on the inside that's gonna stay inside unless you lift this up further, which I guess I'll have to do with some sort of pole thing. Like they got these pole pockets. And then, God, I'm liking that tent less and less the more I use it. And then you've got this thing. So you just lift the zipper here, boom. And you can unfurl this. Oh, actually you can tuck it inside. All right, just throw it over the top. You can open up both sides if you want. I guess that's a better way. So once you've done that, stuck zipper. All right, hold on. There we go. Open this up. Throw this back. Oh, God. Durston's magnet's looking better all the time. But once you set this back here, kind of hard to do all this one-handed. All right. Once you do that, then you've got this door here, which is a double zipper deal. And you can just, well, again, more two-handed. Pull zips. This zipper that way. This zipper up. And then you can get in this tent. And note how high the sidewalls are in this tent. You got storage and pockets all over the place. So this is pretty nice. It's a nice entrance. And I think you can set this up so you can zip this side closed. See if that works. Now we got stuck zipper again. Stuck zipper. So I guess you could do this up and come in and out with coverage there, and you've got room in here for your pack. So the copper spurs, I think for a one-person, fully self-standing tent, this is really good. It's one of the best ones on the market. So here's what it's looking like for the PCT. The more I use the duplex, the less I like it. The rainbow doors, the finicky doors, the the finicky fly doors, this moisture release thing that I never have figured out on the sides inside. Lots of stakes. Kind of a mandatory 8 stakes to do anything with it. So that would be that's third place tent. I'd still take it just to have it, because the upside is it's got a lot of room and I can probably figure out these things, but no stupid rainbow doors. I hate those things. I'd say my next favorite tent is the big Agnes. Nice tent. Really great use of space inside. I can't say enough good things about that. Real coverage. It's a double layer tent, double wall tent, so condensation inside the tent isn't going to be an issue. No wiping down to do. 2.3 pounds, that's a penalty, but 2.4 maybe. But with the addition of these guy lines on these walls, I think this tent's going to be pretty secure. But that brings us to the Durston. I just like this tent more and more as I use it, or set it up. I didn't even show you these vents. These are cool. You can actually take these rods and get ventilation in the tent there, one on each side. So the condensation, if you've got this thing all closed up, can still flow over the top of the tent, which is where it collects, right? And you take these little rods like this, and then kind of Velcro. Again, I'm doing all this with one hand. But look at that, nice easy access doors, poles out of the way, nice vestibule space. No lines all over the place that I'm going to trip over or anything like that. It's the lightest tent. It's got great angles. If you do all of these, if you really went to stake this thing out, it's going to be bomb-proof. So that's it. Duplex sinks lower down to number 3. The Copper Spur's number 2, and the Durston is number 1. So that's it. Yeah. Durston, you did it good.